What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about some wrestling today, like always. Today, we are going to be doing something very brave right now, which is trying to predict the entire WrestleMania card for this year, WrestleMania 41, when right now, honestly, there's so many possibilities. I'm not very confident about a lot of these. Like, I've written down the matches I think are going to happen, even ones that I don't even necessarily want to see, but I think that's the direction we're going. But honestly, the fact that Logan Paul actually might win the Chamber and people are like saying that's a real thing and it's like not out of the realm of possibility just shows you the crazy road we're on right now, which is really exciting for me. Now, we already have at least one match set in stone, so we're going to go over that. But where should it go on the card? Should it go on night 1? Should it go on night 2? Should it main event them? Of course, I'm talking about Gunther and Jey Uso, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to go through each match individually, top to bottom, on where I would put it or where I think each match goes. Now, you might differ. You probably will differ. So let me know where you do agree, where you do disagree, and where you think this is just outright heresy. So like I said, a lot of this is going to be like some fantasy booking, some like I'm more confident about. You know, it really just depends. So if I'm trying to book WrestleMania this year, all right, I'm starting with night 1. First match on the card, I have DIY versus the Street Profits, hold it, versus the Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly. That's, in a TLC match. So this is where maybe I'm getting a little crazy, but look, every WrestleMania I've seen where I've been like, this is an epic one, has been like the Money in the Bank. You guys remember when they did that? Or like some kind of like epic ladder match or something. Like when I went to WrestleMania 32, they had I think it was, oh my God, I don't remember. It was like the Intercontinental title or U.S. title, one of those hung up above the ring. And I think Zack Ryder won that thing. For me, opening the show, the biggest show of the year, with like a ladder match or with like a big tag match with spots and spots and spots, is always the way to go. So I feel like that's a great way to get all 4 of these teams who have been really good lately on the card, but not only on the card, but with a chance to like open the show and maybe even steal the show if they can put on a phenomenal match, which we know they can. So I have that going on, and I actually have the Motor City Machine Guns winning, getting their big moment that they were robbed of at the Royal Rumble, and having it here instead, which would make all the sense in the world to me. I think we should absolutely do this. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this actually needs to be a thing. Let's have all the spots. Let's give everybody a chance to shine. And let's give the Motor City Machine Guns a title so they can feel more relevant than they have been feeling since their debut. Like, it's kind of heartbreaking because I'm such a fan of TNA, especially that old school TNA. That's what I first watched as a wrestling fan. And so I just want to see them more, okay? So let's give them a really good run with these titles. Hopefully that happens. Moving on to match number 2, I think you want to follow that up. And so this is where it gets hard because the number 2 spot is not really a great place to be. But, like, to be honest with you, like, this was such a hard decision because, honestly, there's so many big matches that I want to see. I was between this and another one, but I ended up going with this one for, like, the number 2 slot of the night. And I'm talking about Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile. Is this happening? We don't know if any of these are happening. This is all speculation. But I think they've absolutely been teasing that and going this direction. Are they going to do it at the Chamber? Or are they going to do it after WrestleMania? We don't know. They're going to do it at some point. It just makes sense to do it at WrestleMania. You know? Give the Intercontinental Championship a chance to shine. Now, I know I'm putting it in a spot where that's not always the case. Number 2 spot, not really where you want to be. But there's just so many great matches that we want to see. It's just so hard in a good way to put matches like together on the card. You know what I mean? Because they're so big. In fact, I had to take off a bunch of them because I had like 14 matches or something at some point. And I was like, or more than that. I do have 14. I had like 18 or something like that. And I was like, that's impossible. There's no way they're going to do that. I'm going off of 7 on night 1, 7 on night 2, because that's what they did last year. So all that to say, that's where I would put this match. I think it has to happen. I think Lyra retains. And here's a little bit of booking. I think if Lyra beats Ivy, we get Chad Gable returning. So hopefully we don't see him until this moment because he's off Dark Arts Lucha. And he just like goes off and berates her, which leads to American Made coming out and kind of diffusing the situation and either turning on him here or push that and just like further that story. But obviously we want to do something with Chad Gable going after all of the luchadors. So I think we have to do that somehow, like further that story. So I think that would be a cool way because he said, I want you guys to have gold by the time of return. We already know that American Made lost their title match via disqualification. Okay. So Ivy Nile not getting the win, maybe because of shenanigans or something, would just further that. All right? He's going to be really upset when he gets back. I think that's what you do there. Moving on to match number 3. It breaks my heart, but honestly, it's going to be a good match, but I really feel like we're going the route of kind of a Drew McIntyre not doing much at WrestleMania. So I had to put him somewhere, and I decided to put him with guys who he's been feuding with, but who are also like kind of directionless in my opinion. That is Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest versus LA Knight. And it sucks because I love all three of those men, but I don't feel like they have any direction in life right now, any direction in WWE. And I'm saying that as a huge LA Knight fan. I've got the shirt and everything, okay? A homemade shirt. So I have no pleasure in saying that. And I've been very vocal, at least to my friends. I don't know about here, but about Drew McIntyre and his direction. It's without a doubt one of the most confusing drop storylines this year is Drew McIntyre's pursuit of the bloodline. I just don't see him doing that with the direction he's going, now being moved to SmackDown and all. So I'm going to put him here in a triple threat match that will be good, with Drew hopefully winning so he can win something, and then hopefully getting back on track to trying to take down the actual bloodline. Will this match happen? I don't know, but I just didn't know what to do with these three guys, honestly. I don't know what they're doing, so yeah. But then that leads me to a match that I'm actually very excited for, and I'm almost 100% sure we're going to do. We're going to do this match. Again, it's just a matter of where. But I'm going to put it on WrestleMania. This is Braun Strowman, if that is, versus Jacob Fatu. And I think you do a last monster standing match. But basically last man standing, but for branding, you should probably do something like that. Last monster standing. You get it. It's WWE. So anyway, I think you put that here. You have an amazing, just epic, just grueling match of just destruction and chaos. And I want somebody to go home in an ambulance kind of thing, right? Going to their local medical facility. Nothing else to say there. I mean, this has been brewing for months, and at this point, I think we're going to do this. I think Jacob Fatu should go over and get a huge win over the veteran Braun Strowman, and then we further that. And that brings me to the last 3 matches of night 1, or at least what I believe WWE will do for night 1. And I say that because honestly, I don't even know. Okay, so I have one. We have 2. One of them is the Jey Uso versus Gunther match, and then the other one is Roman versus Seth versus Punk. That's a triple threat match. I'll get to those in a second, but I think before either one of those, if they go on this night, I think you're going to do the Rhea Ripley title match. And so honestly, what's probably going to happen, look, I had Io Sky winning the Chamber. She's not even going to sniff the thing. She's going to fight Rhea on the Raw after Elimination Chamber for some reason. So I have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan because I don't really know where else we're going to go with this. I think we could probably see Rhea versus Bianca, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would actually like to see that. Liv has been stepping up, you know, and it would be kind of cool to see them wrestle again, I suppose. Now, here's how you make it interesting. Now, I gotta give a shout out to another wrestling creator, Santi Zap. Shout him out because I was watching his video. And he mentioned that somebody mentioned Io Sky. They have a theory that Io Sky might be thrown into this because she gets cost at the Raw after Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan cost her the match. Look, let's please do that because I am so sick of Io Sky getting pushed out of the main event picture. Like, she should absolutely be in the main event fighting for this championship at WrestleMania. Like, I hate that we're doing it at the Raw after Elimination Chamber, but at least if we do it that way, it would make sense. We could at least get some justice for Io. My goodness, it's horrible being an Io Sky fan right now. I think we should do that. I don't really think they're going to do that. I feel like I'm being very, very hopeful right now. But Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, triple threat match. That's how you make it a little bit more interesting because we've seen Rhea versus Liv a million times already. For the women's title, have Rhea Ripley win. Have her pin Liv. I don't really care who she pins. Just have them have their moment. All right, but you should not take the title off of Rhea anytime soon. So let's do that. And that leads me to probably the most controversial part of this card, which is triple threat match, Roman, Seth Punk, Jey Uso, and Gunther. We know for a fact Jey Uso versus Gunther, World Heavyweight Championship, is happening, okay? And we know for like there's like a 98% chance the triple threat match is happening. The discussion is, which one should main event? Look, I've thought about this, and one man's opinion here. If I'm WWE, I know they don't always do this, but I really just prefer having the title close the show. Now, I know we didn't really even do that last year, but I feel like Jey Uso versus Gunther should get a chance to main event night one. That is crazy to a lot of people, and I don't blame you. I feel crazy saying it, but I'm going to put Roman, Seth, Punk right before the main event. Have them have a barn burner. Have CM Punk win is who I have winning by pinning Seth. By no means should Roman get pinned, right? And he won't get pinned probably. But hopefully that sets up a title shot or something with Cody down the line, because we obviously still want to see CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at some point. Has to happen. I think maybe you do it that way. Maybe you throw Punk into the main event on night two. Maybe. I mean, I'm not opposed to any of these possibilities. I think you give Jey Uso and Gunther a shot to main event because I think they've earned it. I think Jey Uso's gotten super over, and I know, yes, he yeets forever, but I'm a fan of yeeting forever. I like the yeet. And so with that, I got to give my man the props, and I got to say Jey Uso versus Gunther, World Heavyweight Championship, should be main eventing night one. Please go easy on me. And I think Jey Uso should win as well. I think give him the happy ending. And if it flops, it flops. But I think he definitely deserves a chance to at least deliver. Will it be a good match? I'm not sure. I mean, I hope that it's WrestleMania, that they amp up their game. I know Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso was a letdown, but he's just a different performer. Maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses, but I think he actually is improving every single week. Gunther is amazing, as we know. Give them the chance. And that's night one. Now let's go on to night number two. Now this is where it gets a little bit harder. Night one was already pretty hard, and I felt like a lot of these could have also gone either way. Like, honestly, this is like, it's like cherry picking at this point, which what we're talking about is what's going to open, what's going to main event, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, here's night two. So I think you start night two with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, because it's going to happen. All right, they're absolutely going that direction. I'm like 98% sure we're going to have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens times 54, right? But you have it in an Extreme Rules stipulation match. I don't care if it's a chairs match. I don't care if it's no DQ. I don't care if it's whatever. Give it a stipulation, because you're going to need it. Because we've seen this before. Make it a tables match for all I care. As long as there's a stipulation, I think we can have a really good time with this. And I, for one, never get tired of seeing Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I think they're born and just made to fight each other forever. So I think you start with that. You get the crowd super hyped with an extreme match. And maybe that's just me. Like, I don't know. I always like it whenever they start with kind of an extreme level match. I think that's always a good way to start with energy. Energy, you know? But anyway, I think Kevin Owens should win. Give him a W. And where we go from there, I don't know. Moving on to match number two. Again, always tough to give this spot away because I feel like it is the worst spot. And I was honestly going to maybe put this at the beginning of the show. And I think you could start with this. If they do this, now this is a stretch. Okay, because I just don't know if we're going to, if we have enough time to get here. But I'm putting Penta and Rey Mysterio. So they're not really a tag team yet. But I have them fighting the New Day. Okay. And to make things interesting, I have them fighting the War Raiders as well. Because, look, here's my reasoning. I was looking at this, and I was like, okay, Penta and Rey are not a tag team, but the New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods did just attack Rey Mysterio and Raw, so we're setting something up with them for sure. I think he goes and I need a partner. I know he has the LWO, but it just makes sense to get Penta on the WrestleMania card. And this is just a dream tag team that we want to see. We've already seen Lucha Underground, them fight. We, of course, want to see that again. This is just a way to get to that match. That's the only reason we're doing this. Because you got to do it. The reason I put the War Raiders in here is because I was done with the card, and I looked at it, and I was like, they're not on here. And that sucks because they also deserve to be on the card, and they deserve to have the title, like a title match. Like, I think you absolutely need to do that. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't defend any tag team titles, except, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do any tag team titles or mid-card titles, for that matter, with the way WWE tends to treat those, although I don't think they should do that. So I'm putting them in there for my little fantasy WrestleMania. And I do have Penta and Rey winning as well. I think they win the titles, and I think you start building a full year towards that match, Penta and Rey Mysterio at next year's WrestleMania. So you have them go on this tag team title run, and you do all this stuff, and then slowly start building up. You know what we got to do? We've done it a million times. Just do that, but for the masked luchadors. Set in stone. Done. Book it. Number 3. Okay, so here comes the mid-card titles like I was talking about. They could very well not at all be on here, but I think they should be, so I'm putting them on here. Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven. We have to go this direction. I don't know who else Chelsea would fight. They have to they just need to be on the card, please. Again, a title that has not been appreciated, just like the Women's Intercontinental title. It needs to be given a good match. It needs to be given a good slot. I think 3's pretty good, and I think you have Piper win. So I think you have a title change this early, and maybe they can do a flip-flop back and forth, but that definitely ruins the friendship. But I think you got to give the women something, some kind of headline, and I think maybe the first ever women's U.S. title change could be the thing that kickstarts this thing into a proper feud, please, right? Some kind of feud for the performers that absolutely deserve it, who put on amazing matches and character work every single week. So that's what I got there. Number 4, a match that I'm also pretty sure we're going to have and that everybody's looking forward to, including me. That's AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. We just need to see this. It just needs to be a fact in the universe, please. So I think we have this match. AJ Styles does his entrance, does amazing things, and we obviously give Braun Breaker the big win over AJ Styles to keep his title. It's all said and done. AJ's going to have a great match with him. It's going to be an amazing match, and it's going to be a way to showcase a young Braun Breaker to an even wider audience, the WrestleMania audience, where a lot of people who don't tune in weekly actually watch. So there you go. That should be pretty straightforward. Again, we're in pretend land a little bit, so I'm I'm not really sure if they're gonna do this match. I think it's one of those things where honestly I wouldn't even mind not seeing this at WrestleMania, but I didn't know what else to put here. I'll just say this. I was between Bianca and Naomi, so I'm gonna do this actually. I'm gonna say it's either gonna be Bianca Belair versus Naomi for like a feud of the friends, or instead, and I'm going to lead towards this as like my first choice, they're going to do Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio in some kind of, I think you do like an Extreme Rules match here again, for like another like friendship fight thing. And I think you got to make this interesting because, to be honest with you, Finn Balor has lost so much steam. He's fighting Seth Rollins next week, and there is not one person in the world that thinks he has a chance of winning. Nobody ever thinks Finn Balor is going to actually win. And honestly, I don't even have him winning here. But what I do have to make it interesting and not just be a loss, you should book this as like a loser leaves Judgment Day kind of thing or something. Like give it some stakes. Give them something to fight for. And then when Finn Balor is about to win, Judgment Day comes out and turns on Finn and kicks him out. Boom. Okay, now we've got something to work with. A new fresh start. This is like the 15th fresh start for Finn. So is it going to go anywhere? Probably not. But I like the guy, and I'd wish it would go somewhere. So that's how I have that one going. Honestly, there's not a lot of hype for a match like this, so I think you got to give it some big stakes like that. Loser leaves the Judgment Day. Book it. Let's do it. Okay, so last 2 matches, the WWE Women's Championship and the WWE Championship. I just realized I didn't even mean to do this. I put the WWE's on the same night and the World Championship, so they might not do that. Oh well, too late to go back now. So anyway, Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton has to be the move. And Tiffany absolutely needs to win. There is no world where Charlotte Flair should be getting her hand raised at a WrestleMania for the next 5 years. Okay? She's had way too many wins. And people are just sick of it. All right? So we got to give it to Tiffany Stratton, I think. And this is the direction that most people are saying they're going. It looks like they're going this way. They might pull a swerve because this is the most unpredictable road to WrestleMania I've seen in a very long time. So, yeah. Tiffy time. Let's do it. That leads me to the main event. What should be closing night 2 of WrestleMania 41. Look, you got to give it to Cody Rhodes and John Cena. You do, okay? If John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, there is no chance in hell that he does not close the show night 2 with Cody Rhodes. Those are just two of the biggest names right now in wrestling, barring Roman Reigns. Like that Roman Reigns is the only reason, by the way, that triple threat match could main event one of the nights because he is just Roman Reigns. But I think you go this way. I think you go Cody, John Cena, WWE Championship, and you have Cody Rhodes win. And we end on heartbreak, okay? We end on heartbreak. John Cena does not get the big prize. He has to keep fighting, and he continues fighting throughout the year. And we do that. Easy peasy. And that is WrestleMania. I will take a chance to name people that I didn't mention and that maybe should be on the card some way or somehow, but I just don't really see a direction for them right now. The first one and the one that hurts the most is Shinsuke Nakamura, who is, in case you forgot, the U.S. champion. I know I forgot and I had to look it up because what the hell has that belt been doing for the last couple of months? So sadly, I just don't see him being on a WrestleMania. I don't see them giving any stock in that title at all, at least right now. The women's tag belts, like Naomi and Bianca, I don't think they're going to defend them. And that's a bummer because they are the tag team champions. I think you can just get it off of them and give it to like a tag team that's going to use it, because we're probably just going to do, if they're on WrestleMania, they're probably going to be fighting each other. And they're not going to be defending those belts whatsoever. I don't have that at all on this WrestleMania. 2, I'm going to put together Sheamus and Randy Orton. Like, Randy Orton very well might come back and be in the story of Roman Reigns in the triple threat match somehow. That very well might be a possibility, but I don't see him wrestling on the show. Nor do I see Sheamus wrestling on the show, which is a bummer because he absolutely deserves it. Maybe we insert him with the Drew McIntyre match. We may go to Fatal 4-Way. I don't know. But he needs to be going after the IC title, the only title he hasn't won. So we'll just have to do that later down the line. I don't see it happening at WrestleMania. And then that brings me to 2 more and then another one. So 3. So Sikoa and just the bloodline in general, I just don't know where to put them. Like, Solo just came back, and it's too unpredictable to say what he's going to do. I mean, is he going to get involved with something? Is he going to fight anybody? He has no reason to fight anybody but, like, Roman and Cody right now. And nobody wants to see Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa again. And I don't know what to do with it. So there it is. And then I have The Miz, who is always a star at WrestleMania, but I just don't know where to put the guy. Maybe you do a guest spot. Maybe you have him host the damn thing again because he's so good at that. But I don't know where to put him. And lastly, this is not a specific person, but I don't have any celebrities on here. I don't even have Logan Paul on here, which is probably a misstep. I probably should have put them on here somewhere, but there hasn't been any big celebrity like announcements as far as who's going to be like getting involved in the show, but they usually do. So I'm going to save a special room for that. Like, I have no idea how to predict what's going to happen with that right now, but we're going to have some sort of celebrity do some type of celebrity thing at WrestleMania. We always do. So what's that going to be? I have no clue, but that's probably going to happen. Or maybe an old legend or something. I don't know. Maybe they'll just appear at ringside like they've been doing. But I digress. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. That is, if I was booking WrestleMania, that's what I would put. So let's be glad I'm not booking WrestleMania, and let's see what's actually going to happen and enjoy the ride together. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification for more, and I will see you guys on the next one.